Hello, Deb here, Slap Happy Sewing. Right, so today I am going to show you a roundup video of all the makes I made in 2021, and don't worry, it isn't going to be hundreds of them. I'm not that prolific. I'm going to try and be really honest with myself and actually discern whether making that garment turned out to be a good idea or not. I mean, they're always a good idea in one way because you always learn something, and it is a bit of a journey. It's not just the sewing, but it's learning what you need to make that fits with what you'll actually wear. That's the bit that I'm kind of working on now. Not to say that I can't still be working on the sewing. I'm by no means an expert in that department. However, so I'm going to give this try and have a really sort of cold hard look at my 2021 makes. But before I start that, I just wanted to say something. I did tell you, I think just before Christmas, that I was thinking of doing some other things with YouTube and maybe sort of putting them all on the same channel. Well, since then I have been exploring doing a little bit of study. So I am going to do a little course in digital media production next year, and because of that, what I think I'll do is make a whole other channel for my experiments and for that course. If I do end up making anything interesting that I think you might be interested in, then I'll let you know, and it's up to you whether you go over there and watch it. But I think what I'm going to do is keep Slap Happy Sewing, and keep it as my hobby vlog, and then I won't feel too much pressure to do anything wildly artistic here, and you won't have to put up with all my experiments either. Right, so let's get on with the show. I have just put all of my makes from 2021 into a long line video, and I'm going to watch them all, and I am going to invite you to get my actual reactions, the real deal. I'm going to try and be reflective not only on what I made and whether it worked or not, but whether I actually wore it, and is it something that I need to learn a lesson from or not. Anyway, here goes. All right, first of all, there is this Itch to Stitch Mania's top. I remember I had an awful job with the placket, and I made a bit of a mess of it, but made it manage to look all right in the end. Showing it here. Yeah, quite like it. It's I didn't find though that I wore it very much because it felt too big and baggy, and I put ties in the back. And then there's this one, which is the Burda one. This is one I've made quite a few times, quite good. This one I remember I had to piece the back together. Have worn this so much at home. It's a funny old bit of fabric, but I've worn it so much that it's actually kind of worn out nearly. Oh yes, and then there's this, which is the Alcott dress by Cashmerette. Lovely dress, bit on the fence about dresses. I don't generally, I'm trying to make myself reach for my dresses more, but this one is a bit hot. Also this one, similar type of fabric. It's not as polyestery as the other one. This is a kind of a crepe, knit crepe, and you know that bodice is doubled. And while I think it's a lovely dress and I love the colours, it's actually too hot for the summer in that material. So what I'm thinking about is ripping off those sleeves and putting long sleeves on it, wearing it in the winter. Here is the Swoon cardigan. It's a free pattern. And here is the dress that I made. I've just put it up. It's a Love Notions t-shirt dress. This fabric was fabric that I kind of bought, and it was a disappointment when it came. It's very polyestery. I think now what I'm going to do, here it is with the cardigan on. I think what I've decided to do with this is cut it down into a longer t-shirt, because I probably get more wear out of it that way. Same problem, make dresses but don't reach for them, so need to think about that. Oh yes, now this little top, this was really a muslin for New Look 6871. Nice little pattern. I did do a full bust adjustment on it. It still wasn't probably enough because I didn't adjust the bit above the gathers enough. And I found, and I had to add some length to this, as you can see, an extra piece. I found that it kept slipping back, so I gave that to charity, but it was good enough as a muslin. It's hopefully somebody's wearing it and enjoying it. Next thing, yes, this is the same pattern but with bishop sleeves. I wish I had made the bishop sleeves down to the wrist because those 3/4 sleeves kind of irritate me a little bit. I have worn this a bit. That was a real pity because I had plenty of fabric to make longer bishop sleeves, so that's what I'll learn. Cashmerette Concord t-shirt, which I've made a few times. Yes, I made a sort of super pattern out of card. This is a Concord t-shirt which I just cut up the middle and put bias binding on. I didn't actually keep this was just made out of scraps and pieces. As you can see, it's pieced in different ways. Kind of looking at it now, I'm kind of sorry that I gave it away, but I wasn't wearing it. This one was an upcycle of a top that was too big in the shoulders, and if you look weirdly, it has more gathers on one sleeve cap than the other. That's not my fault. It was actually literally like that. However, I did do an upcycle, but you know, same problem. I have not worn this in the summer because it's quite a polyester. I will not wear polyester in the summer. And I think we're going to come to the same here with the adult everyday tee. This polyester was in the same parcel as the other t-shirt dress that I made. I was just using it up. Haven't worn this, given it to charity. Also, that tee is very long. Duet trousers. Oh, what a disaster these were. I've actually just thrown these into a cupboard. Let me just talk to you. Okay, so this is said trousers. So what I did was I undid the side seams from about there and made them smaller to let them out a bit, and then I also took the back darts out and I put elastic in the waistband. But of course I made a mess of that, but I'll tell you why I haven't gone any further with it. So there I am, that's all fine and dandy. Thinking, well, maybe that will make them work. Now remember, these are non-stretch fabric. So I think, well, that surely is enough room, wait for it, to sit down. Let's just try that. Oh. Oh. I just feel like I'm poured into these. Oh, that was a pair that the lady I bought a lot of fabric her, that was a pair she'd cut out, and I made them up. And it's funny because I machined them up with no adjustments. They fitted me a lot better than the duet pants. Huh. Yeah, even the waist was in the right place. This, I can't remember the name of this top, I'll put it up. It's a nice little jacket and it was fun to make, and it's an old pattern that I've got. But I did have a heck of a lot of trouble getting the collar to lay flat, and in the end, because it's a sort of a woolly fabric, I had to stretch and stretch and stretch it. So, but other than that, I thought this jacket turned out really, really cute, and I'm happy with it. It is a little bit of an issue. You can only really wear it with clothes like this. So, but I do love it. I love it, and I would like to make it again. And this was a floor cushion. I was trying to think of something to do with all my fabric scraps, and I decided I'd make a great big floor cushion, which I did. This is just the lining. I machined it up, but then I found out it was so large I could hardly pick it up. So I made two smaller ones, and I've been filling them. They're not full even yet. It takes so much fabric to fill one of those cushions. This one is the chalk and notch fringe dress. This was a lovely make, and in fact I thought this would be a muslin and it would be awful, but in fact I love it and I've worn it loads. And you know, this is really, learn from this, Deb. This is my style basically. This is, you know, casual, sort of halfway between a little bit funky. Definitely love it. Oh, I took these away on holiday. This was some knitting projects that I had. I took them away on holiday and finished them, but I don't like the colour on me, so I gave them to charity. Haha. And these were some oven gloves I made, and I do use them all the time. So yeah, just for the tally, another thing I made. Oh, this was the Love Notions Metro jacket. This was the muslin, which I made such a mess of the collar. I think I put it on 3 times in the wrong way. This was the second one I made. But I actually wear them both, and perfect for me. This same halfway between smart and casual works really well for me. I'm wearing this with jumper in this one, and it's nice and warm. It's a lovely boucle fabric. This one is a Elian Mac top. I was looking for something to do a bit of piecing, and you made this as the muslin for size. Came out a little bit big. This is my husband actually said something nice for a change.
Come and give us your opinion.
No.
He actually said, come on, what did you just say? What did you say?
Huh?
What did you just say?
It's quite good. Quite nice.
Oh yes, now this was the charity shop buy. It was too small in the bust, so and actually over the tummy, so I added a bit of webbing in the side. I thought I'd been so clever, it was great, but even then, as you can see here, it was still too tight in the bust. And actually, because I had decided to go ahead and make the envigado top, I decided I'd get rid of this one. I am actively trying not to keep too many clothes. Oh, this was the Frugal Frocks challenge. Nice dress, have never worn it. Dress issue again. Don't, note to self, be really careful about getting involved in challenges, so you end up making things you don't need. Oh yeah, and in the middle of the year I ended up making loads of curtains for my son, who's got this weird house with lots of angles like this. That's not his actual house, but it's very similar to that. Here's another chalk and notch fringe dress. Like this one very well too. I love the colour particularly of this one, and it can be worn with tights and leggings or a jumper. I must admit it is a bit, I think it's probably a crepey material, and I haven't really worn it in the hot weather either, but it was a success. I would definitely count this one as a success. This was an upcycle. This was the first upcycle I'd done a couple of years ago, and then I re-upcycled it again. But I've given this to charity too, because it's another dress that I just haven't worn. Note to self, when will I ever learn? I do not really like wearing dresses that much. Be really careful. Must remember, don't make dresses unless you're really, really sure that you're going to wear them. So I think probably 10% of my make should be dresses and the rest not. Oh, this was a Whistler jumper by Love Notions. Came out really well. My goodness, this jumper is so warm. As usual, charity shop material, so I didn't know what it was, but it's definitely wool, because it's really, really warm. And very nice to wear actually, this jumper. Quite big though, but that's fine. Plenty of room for a jumper underneath. Oh yes, this is another jumper. I wanted actually to make a sweater dress, and I didn't have enough fabric when I looked at it, so I made a sort of tunic length jumper. Now I have worn this once or twice, but since I took this video I have chopped off the sleeves and put some bands on the sleeve, and you know what, I think I'm going to chop the band off the bottom and put on another band, because I had to fiddle with it so much. Not good. Now here is the envigado vest. This was another one that the mate, I just couldn't understand the instructions. I really mucked it up, but I kind of rescued it with a bit of hand sewing and so forth. I like it very much actually. Have made a few adjustments to the pattern and will be making one, but then it's, you know, I kind of ran out of season. I thought I don't really want to make another one now. One of the problems is I make these muslins, but I can't bear to waste the fabric, and then sometimes I don't get round to making the second one. As you can see, this is really a bit tight on me. Yeah, I hope I've adjusted it in the new pattern. Yeah, I really hope that the next one I make, which as I say is cut out waiting in my drawer, I like the trim I put on it, but what I have noticed is when you put those things on, it makes it less wearable with other pattern things. So yeah, but on the whole, this is a very me garment, the kind of thing I like to wear, much more than all those dresses. And yes, this aniline clementine dress, I think I've made this 3 times now. This is I made it as a way of using up some fabric that I had. I had a real job lot of this blue jersey fabric, so I thought, well, I'll make that, and if I don't wear it as a dress or a tunic, then I'll wear it as a nightie, and so be it. But here's the second version, which is this navy blue. I really like this. It's not really very good quality fabric, bought it in a really knockdown sale, but it's come out really well. And here is the Brad Patton's Luca jacket. It was double-breasted. I decided that what I would do is line it, which is the first time I've ever made a lining, and I also turned it into single-breasted. It was a bit of a fiddle, but I think it's wearable now, so I look forward to wearing that next autumn and winter. Here is the Cashmerette Rose Claire dress. Now, for this dress, I take back everything I said about dress wearing, because I love this dress. It's really nice. To be honest, I haven't worn it because I'm going to a wedding in February, and I decided to keep it as a special dress for that wedding. But love the length. Oh my goodness, it's a fabric hog too. I think this dress took 7 meters. The Upton dress I've made a few times. So I made a pinafore version. Previously I made a navy one. I made a purple pinafore version. And here is something I knitted, one of my strange knits that I do in front of the television. I never like to use a pattern, and I found that I thought it went quite well with this pinafore and top, so I was quite pleased about that, a way to wear it, because, you know, otherwise you end up with these wardrobe orphans. They are in themselves nice garments, but you don't use them. And yeah, I just showing you the blouse, which I really made to go underneath the purple pinafore. It's based on the Cadence, Love Notions Cadence. This is the everyday tee again, made in a cotton fabric. Now that it's really, I didn't lengthen this pattern, and it really is a bit too long. So I think what I might do is just take it up a bit so it's more of an ordinary t-shirt. And this pattern 2538, this was basically me trying to make myself a white shirt, which I'd always wanted but never managed to have because of my bust issue. So this is kind of a stretchy fabric, and yeah, made a complete mess of that first placket. This second one was much better, but still not perfect. But hey, they're perfectly wearable. I like this one because it's actually a very pale lilac colour. It's really nice. Yeah, so this, I would count this one as quite successful and probably my style and very wearable. And I like that collar poking out of a jumper look. Here's the florsome. Yeah, so this was the muslin I made. I haven't actually got round to making any more so far. Came out much nicer than I expected, even though the fabric's absolute rubbish. Not sure how it will hold up. Another Concord t-shirt. This one I made, this is pretty thick cotton jerseys. Okay, here, this is from the Cashmerette Ahead of the Curve book, the Magna pants. So I made I think I did a full tummy adjustment as detailed in the book, and a straight size 20 I think, but in fact, as you can see, the hips are just way too big for me because I'm a person who's more tummy than hips. Here's the pair. I actually finished them. This, I'm keeping this pattern as it is because although I've made it in some old piece of fabric here, because this is really a muslin, although I finished them, I think this would work just fine in a looser, flowier fabric. This is the Amuse boho top. Actually, I like it very much, but I think I could probably make a whole size smaller next time. And this is the Love Notions Cadence dress. I made it as a dress, realised I was never going to wear it as a dress, and cut it down as a top, which you can see here. This is this purple jacket I upcycled from double-breasted to single-breasted, and I took the shoulders in and let the buttons out, so there's a bit more room in the waist and a little tighter up in the shoulders, and so it fits me better. Probably needs a wash actually, but I haven't done that yet. Yeah, and underneath the Cadence top, which I've cut off. I made a bunch of these door stops over Christmas and gave them as presents. I had these Australian motifs, and it was just a way to use them up as well. They're quite fun. That took me ages. So these are my reflections now. I have sat there and thought a little while about what could I take from what we've just seen. And the first thing is muslins. But the interesting thing is, even though they're supposed to be muslins, I hate throwing the fabric away, so I will always try to turn them into something wearable. And you know, some of the time it works okay. When it hasn't worked is because I've used fabric that I really just don't like. So I've gone to in the end, I've gone to a lot of trouble to make a garment and called it a wearable muslin, and then just given it away to charity, which I suppose is better than it going to landfill. If I used fabric I liked better, and I have a huge stash of fabric now because I've done a lot of fabric buying from this local person who was destashing this year. So I really need to go through that fabric and take out stuff I don't like. Point number 2 was polyester. What I can see a strong theme that if it's summertime, I don't generally like wearing polyester. I don't mind some synthetic fabrics as long as they look relatively natural, but in summertime when it's hot like now, I will not wear polyester, and I just need to accept that. So I made a couple of Alcott dresses, and one is like a polyester and the other is a crepe, and basically they've become winter dressings because of what they're made of. So I must remember never to make that mistake again. If I'm ever making a summer dress, it needs to be something light and cotton. Dresses though, dresses, I think I very clearly got from that I really need to be very careful. Possibly a very small proportion of my make should be dresses, because I've got a few dresses now, of course, because I've made a few, probably more than I'm going to regularly wear. I'm going to stick in future to tunics and pinafores, and maybe light summer dresses if they're cotton, and I think I will actually wear them, like the Rose Claire. But actually no, I'm going to really justify it to myself if I get tempted to make a dress again. I noticed the clothes that I like and that I've worn, they haven't necessarily been my best makes, but I've worn them because they go more in my style guidelines. Those of you who've been watching my channel, you know that back last year I did the everyday style course, and I came up she gets you to look at your signature style, and you get 3 words, and mine was country, but that it would be as in English country, not American country, boho, and authentic. And I've noticed that generally the clothes I really like and I wear, I've got 2 of those 3. So I need to actually really sewing to my style guidelines a lot further. Frugality, because I'm a very frugal person and I hate to sort of waste things and throw them away. But apart from the polyester point, I should possibly just give away any fabric that I don't like, because I am going to finish it. I'm going to take a lot of time on it, and then I won't wear it, and it's not worth the trouble. So just get rid. Those of you who haven't watched me before, all of the videos that relate to these makes, they're all in the list, my playlist marked 2021. I am a hobby vlogger. I am a size 18, 20, usually more of a 20 in ready to wear. I'm 5'8" tall. I have a GH bust cup. And just so that you know, and as you can see, if you've watched all that, you know that I'm a bit of an apple shape. I carry most of my excess in my tummy, and I've got a large bust, but I don't particularly have big hips, and I've got a flat bottom. So I'm being upfront about that, because I think often people who watch me, they watch me because they maybe have got some similarity in some part of their body to me, and maybe the clothes that I try on give them ideas about what might work for them. That's certainly why I often watch other style vloggers. I will endeavour to get a little more focused with my sewing in 2022. I think I did a lot better in 2021 than I did in 2020. I think my sewing generally got better and I was more focused. I probably also have been making kind of too many clothes. I think I probably don't need to acquire clothes that fast. So in the future, I think I need to really try and work this trouser business out, because I do wear trousers pretty much all the time and shorts in the summer. So if I could nail that. The Magna pants were not bad. The duets were awful. So if I keep working on trousers, jackets I really love. Yeah, maybe more kind of basic garments too at the moment. All right, so if you have enjoyed my content, would you please consider subscribing? I believe that if you give me a like, it helps the YouTube algorithm recognize that I'm worth watching and share me out to other people. And please have a wonderful week. Happy sewing. Happy New Year to you all. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye.